when last we left our intrepid adventurers. What was when we last left our intrepid?
It was kind of in a weird place because there was a lot of debate about what to do, and we decided that the most important thing was to go back and deal with the end of all things.
Save Aurora and save the world.
Yeah, I think Krosis was
save the cheerleader.
I think Krosis was in Crisis, and then you guys were like, let's put that on a shelf.
Yeah, the Obelisk.
It's really difficult because, okay, end of the world, Krosis, completely non-functional.
Yeah. Like, can you keep it together?
Yeah.
Remember, KIT, keep it together.
Yeah.
Keep it together.
And previously, the only idea we'd had to bring Krosis back together again was a really big, long, elaborate thing of rescuing all his friends that we probably aren't even at a sufficient level to pull off.
Right.
So then we came up with the fallback thing of, well, we could go and retrieve the hearts. But Krosis himself has kind of been like, no, it's not going to help. Because he is increasingly convinced, for some reason, he thinks everything's a dream.
Mm-hmm.
He's getting to the point where...
Yeah, so Krosis is falling apart.
Krosis is falling apart, and it's increasingly looking like there's... I don't know what we can do to help him, because anything we do he dismisses as not actually being a real thing.
The Obelisk said, pretty much the worst possible thing to him. And
we were talking about that at the last telling, Krosis called his, boss up and got, the worst news ever. And Cricket called her boss up and was like, oh, great.
You're doing great.
Yeah.
You're awesome. Here's a quick hotline in case you have any more questions, but you don't need it right now because everything is awesome.
You are the best ever.
Yes.
But I think that
in both cases, everyone disagrees with what the hotline has said. Everyone's like, "No, Cricket, she's awful, and you're awful, and don't be like that." And then Krosis is like, "No, don't believe him, Krosis. You're awesome, and everything is great."
I think, especially because he said, you're broken. I think that shattered some of Krosis' illusions, and he has his second layer of illusion, and he's back to his bedrock illusion that this is a dream and everything he does here is pointless. And for a while he was like, oh well, maybe this is serving a purpose, but now he's like, no, this dream is pointless. All I need to do is wake up. Everything I'm doing is a waste of time.
Mm-hmm. And I have become fairly convinced that his plan for waking up is to destroy the world. We're going to be going up against void monsters that want to destroy the world, and I think Krosis is going to stab us in the back at some point. I'm becoming quite convinced of this. So that's what I'm keeping an eye out for. And fortunately, Krosis no longer owns a share of Cricket, so if it comes to a throwdown, Cricket will actually be able to fight him. I don't know if she'll do any good, but...
Yeah, I guess at the start of the session, technically the deadline hadn't passed. But it did by the end, so...
Yeah.
And he had, pretty much officially renounced Stone.
Yeah.
So...
We have decided to go with the Aurora thing. It seems a little bit more important.
End of the world.
Yeah, end of the world versus end of Krosis. It's harsh.
Sorry, Krosis.
It's harsh, but that's where the calculus winds up, the moral calculus. There's no point in saving Krosis if the world is destroyed.
That was already established point in history.
That's true, but we could have stopped it. I don't know. We successfully delayed it. That's pretty big.
That's a lot of Jenga.
It's a lot of Jenga, but we could have tried. If we had made that our goal, we could have tried to do it. And I think that there is some slim chance of succeeding. Seems pretty unlikely, but...
That might derail the whole campaign.
I think it would probably work
for sure. I mean, I don't even know what we would do after that.
World building, I suppose.
I think so.
Alright, revert.
That would be very, very odd.
Yeah.
To have our characters literally be from a parallel universe.
Yeah.
And then there'd be these other characters that are also from the parallel universe, and we're the villains that destroyed their world, and they're trying to... Yeah. Anyway, in order to save the world, we're going to go with Kalinar's plan, because he's never led us astray, and he's clearly a master chess player at these sorts of things.
Yeah, most of his plan actually went perfectly to plan, and most of his plan was making him seem like an idiot, which he totally fell for. And his plan only failed when the Drow killed what's-his-face and stole the clock, so... I mean, he didn't... His plan did not go off without a hitch, but it definitely went off. He succeeded in making you think he was an idiot. Which was his plan.
If only that had been the whole of his plan.
What was the purpose of making him seem like an idiot?
Well, so his plan was to with the box, he wanted it to be very obfuscated, getting it to Allenway, and so he set up the whole thing with the guy who took the box the first time, and then he was like, "What? You gave it to some random guy?" That was his plan, and then the party was supposed to, and that guy immediately he hid in the sewers. I forget why, but anyway, but the point is he immediately was to deliver the box separately, and the party was supposed to be thrown off the trail searching for it, but unfortunately they were a little bit too good finding it. That was part of the problem. So the party was a little bit too good, but not quite good enough. But then in the end Stanley jumped town and ran, and that was the whole plan. And the party was supposed to, there was some false rumors, I think, about him going a different way or something.
Yeah.
The party was supposed to follow those, but we didn't end up. That's where things went off, because the drought killed him and took the box. And that was where Kalinar's plan failed for the first time. But it was supposed to end up that the party was left dropping Kalinar and be like, "Oh, what an idiot," walking off. Meanwhile, the box continues on its trip, and that was supposed to be how it all ended up, nice and clean.
So the current plan is to get Aurora back in time, sub her for previous Aurora from that time period, so that when the Void Monster attacks and eats part of her soul, it'll actually eat the previous part of itself for the first time.
Right.
Eat itself.
Now, Kalinar doesn't know anything about how time travel works, so his plan was kind of to just have both parties just go at it, and he doesn't seem to have any sense.
He doesn't know about Jenga towers. He doesn't know about the limits on when and where you can go with time travel, that sort of thing. So we're sort of taking charge of the operation at this point, because we know more than him about the things that are actually necessary to do this.
Yeah.
So Serendipity, Van Gosar Mora, Topper Tower, Chef Soul, Shark, Doomlayer, did a whole lot of arcana-ing and figured out there's a connection point in a couple weeks' time. Is it a couple weeks or 1 week?
I think it's 3 weeks.
3 weeks. Connection point will appear near the Clinker College. That goes back to was a couple months before. A couple months before the event, and located over at the western border of the Empire of Endless Flowers.
In the area where the wild elves are.
Yeah. Fortunately, we're a highly mobile party at this point. We have our griffins and whatnot, so the physical location of these endpoints aren't as all that important. It's mainly the time periods we can get to that is most important. But we went, but it's a couple weeks. We have nothing else to do. So we figured, hey, Clinker College, let's go and go to college. Yeah.
College episode, or the college.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Trust the old team.
We'll join a fraternity.
Yeah, it was kind of interesting because I expected a little bit of stuff to happen, but I was mostly expecting just, they go there for 3 weeks, nothing happens. But they managed to find lots of stuff to do.
Oh, yeah. So we arrive in town. It's not a very big town. A whole lot of gnomes, nameless gnomes in brown robes and stuff. They do the clinkers, which are the big golem things.
They're spheres that are like the size of
a small cottage.
Yeah, or like a piece of construction equipment kind of thing. And then they have attachments. And the spheres are essentially impenetrable.
Yeah. With one exception. We'll get to that. So we arrive in town, and Krosis is all mopey, as he is now. And the others were sort of wanting Krosis not to be mopey. Cricket no longer has any direct responsibility for Krosis in any way, but she's told the party wants him to not be crazy anymore. Mm-hmm. And so Cricket was like, well, maybe there's a psychologist in town, because it's a college town. Yeah. And so she sort of convinced Krosis to go along with her, to go to a psychologist. And Tim was actually rather enjoying the dynamic of Cricket and Krosis going around. Cricket was pulling all these philosophical, she was trying to do the psychology thing herself. And I can't remember all the exact back and forth thing that we did, but I think we were both scoring pretty good hits in psychology and philosophy and stuff like that. Nothing came of it, but it was good, well done. And then we arrived at the psychology shop. And psychology.
I would like to buy one psychology,
Yes,
please.
I'd like to buy some sanity, please. It's for my friend here. And so there was this gnome who was a student of psychology, or professor of psychology, something. He was supposedly knowledgeable in these things.
Yeah.
And so I paid for an hour session, and Krosis went to talk with him. And basically, after a fairly short discussion, confided to Cricket, he's a little bit beyond my usual level of crazy. I'm out of my depth here. I don't think I can do anything. Cricket was like, well, okay, whatever. And Krosis left the room. But Cricket had paid for a full hour. And so she decided to ask him if he had any advice that going forward she could continue to try and help Krosis. And in the course of that discussion, may have mentioned that she wasn't a person or something along those lines. And the psychologist then was like, really? You believe you're not a person? And then we spent the rest of the hour with
Cricket.
The psychologist was working on Cricket, trying to, and she's like, oh, no, it's okay, I'm not crazy. You don't have to worry about me. But unfortunately, Krosis wandered off during that period. Oh, yes, the inn. When we first arrived in town, we asked, hey, is there an inn that we can go to? And so, yeah, there's one inn. It's called the Warforged?
The old Warforged Inn.
Yes. And it's called that because there's a Warforged standing in the corner of every room. They've been there forever. They never move. It's kind of creepy, I guess, but everyone's got used to it.
They kept insisting, no, it's not creepy. They just look away. They don't look at you. They're just looking at the corner. It's not creepy at all. It's fine.
I really can't understand why they haven't built another inn, because I'm surprised they get any sort of custom at all at that inn. But seeing as we have a special relationship with the Warforged, we're like, we're going to go camping. We're going to go outside of town instead of campsite. Anyway.
Let's not tempt fate.
So when Krosis left the psychologist's office, he went to the inn and said, I'd like a room, please. Paid for a room, went into the room. There's a Warforged there. And then he starts mouthing off to the Warforged, trying to get the Warforged to fight him. Because I think it's pretty clear at this point, Krosis has a pretty strong death wish. He's thinking if he gets killed, he'll wake up, or something along those lines.
Forge, he's trying to get the Warforged to attack him, but the Warforged isn't for some reason. But he makes an insight, and you can tell that the Warforged is just like really shaking with anticipation, like he just really wants to fight Krosis. He's like, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy.
I get
but
to
he's not
finally
actually attacking
do
him.
something. So yeah, Krosis spends quite a while trying to provoke this Warforged. Manages to turn the Warforged around, like physically grabs him and turns him around so he's facing the room. And I think the Warforged goes into a bit of a guarded stance or something like that. But just when he's really starting to like tweak the Warforged's nose, Cricket finally shows up, manages to talk Krosis into leaving the room, and the Warforged just glares at Cricket. He's really angry at Cricket because he was so looking forward to actually doing something, but Cricket intervened at the last moment and defused the situation. Meanwhile,
I want to know what the Warforged is waiting for.
I don't know. It's Warforged, who knows? Meanwhile, Aurora and Serendipity, Bengal, Storm, Lord, Top Four Towers, Shepherd, Soul Strides, Rooftop, Doomdelair are out in the town. They're exploring the college. And this is a bit of an interesting challenge because as a proper gnome, Serendipity, Bengal, Storm, Top Four Towers, Shepherd, Soul Strides, Rooftop, Doomdelair refuses to acknowledge the existence of nameless gnomes. As far as she's concerned, this is a deserted town. They're going through some sort of weird ghost town that's populated by nothing but clinkers.
And they go on a tour, and the tour guide's explaining all this stuff to Aurora, but of course Serendipity can't hear any of this because there's no one there. And she's like, I'm regretting this already. This is so awkward.
So they figured, okay, we'll go to the college, and we'll see if there's like a library or, just do some learning. Turns out, Clinker College is quite literal. It is a college for clinkers.
Oh.
Who, as you may recall from world building, have the minds of small children. So, yeah, turns out it's
so
not...
that psychologist was a child psychologist.
So good.
I guess. Yeah.
Well, he would work. I mean, there are people here who build the clinkers. Like it's also
Yeah.
it's like a giant. The campus is like a giant tinker
Yeah.
And then there's also people training and teaching the Clinkers.
But there's nothing really that's useful to us.
No, it's not like a library of learning. It's a giant Tinkerville and a training center for Clinkers.
Yeah. As we're being exposed to Clinkers and sort of, getting a feel for what they're like, Cricket is feeling more and more smug because these gnomes have been working on the creation of lifelike automatons for hundreds of years, and they train these things intensively for hundreds of years, and the result is a babbling toddler, basically useless and more dangerous than any good.
Yeah.
The Empire of Endless Flowers, did it in a couple of years and produced domestics that are way better.
I mean, just look at Cricket.
Yeah. So she's got a bit of smugness going on about the Clinkers.
Yeah, it's funny. Everyone was like, "Yeah, let's go check out the Clinkers." And then, the guy's talking about how he loves the Clinkers because they're so, they're like the perfect creatures because they stay like children forever. Like, for example, look at these two. And there's just two Clinkers who are standing there, and then they slap each other in the face a bunch, then dissolve back into giggles, and then they just do it again. And he said they've been doing this for 30 years. Isn't that beautiful? And everyone starts looking around like, where's the door?
Yep, we're in Crazy Town.
Crazy Town, but
I don't know. There's a couple of cities in this world that seem to have some kind of local psychosis. Allenway keeps staying there. That's their problem.
It's the safest place in the world. They're protected against everything that could happen.
Meanwhile, Hank, he went to the campsite, set up camp, and then he decided to go hunting as his pastime. But then this Clinker showed up.
Hank just stealthed in the bushes, and this Clinker goes, bah, 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 bah.
And then hunkers down next to him.
And
Hank
is holding his bow, trying to shoot a hare, and the Clinker looks over and puts on like a crossbow attachment and starts like hunkering down to shoot the hare. And of course, it's no good because everything is just running away.
Huge, noisy thing. So Krosis is very grumpy. Not Krosis. Hank is very grumpy at this Clinker.
And the Clinker scared away the hare, and Hank was complaining, so he was boo, 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 and fills like a hare full of like 10 arrows.
Yeah.
And then brings it over and is very excited. Thanks.
It's like, this is kind of ruined. You've riddled this hare.
But
Hank winds up teaching this Clinker how to hunt. Inadvertently, because, it just won't leave him alone. And finally, after Hank managed to kill a buck and was carrying it back, and then this Clinker shows up after having gone off in the woods with like an armload of dead deer.
Yeah, he brings them and puts them down in front of Hank and is so proud of himself.
Yeah.
And Hank is like, and then he grabs them, and he grabs Hank. No, but Hank won't let go of it.
Yeah.
So he just grabs Hank by the deer and puts him on his back and starts walking back to camp with this armload of deer. I realized afterwards that he had $5 because I said it was 5. It wasn't intentional, but.
So Hank's back at camp with his prey that he's hunted, and also all the stuff that the Clinker brought.
Yeah, and so he's butchering it and cooking some up, and some he's gonna jerky.
Yeah, and the Clinker is still hanging around being annoying. So finally, Hank wants his Clinker out of his hair, and so he tells it, what you could do now that you're an awesome hunter is go and hunt an elephant. And so the Clinker is like, sort of, okay, elephant. Don't know what that is. Whatever. Off it goes.
Hank just tells him it's very big.
Very big. So the Clinker is sent off into the world on a mission to hunt something.
An elephant.
Something big called an elephant that it has no idea what it is.
This kid did not go wrong at all.
So everyone starts gravitating back to the campsite at this point. This is nighttime. And
I think a few days passed without anything meaningful because before the next thing happened.
Well, the Clinker showed up again.
That was a few days.
Okay. I thought since the bucks were still being dressed and stuff.
It was a couple days later.
Yeah.
And I think the Clinker. I don't remember now.
It could be that the hunting happened a couple days later as well.
Because I remember the bucks were they were hanging right to cure or whatever age.
Yeah, I guess that takes a while. I'm not super familiar with all the intricacies of hunting deer. Anyway, yeah, the Clinker showed up again with a giant crocodile that it had riddled with crossbow bolts. It dropped that in front of Hank, all puppy-like. It was like, look, I got an elephant. It doesn't speak, but, that's the impression you get. And Hank was like, thanks, you got an elephant.
It did, Hank asked its name, I think, at this point, and that's the only time it ever spoke, because Hank said, what's your name? And it said back, what's your name? My name's Hank. My name, Hank Jr. So that's the only thing it's said so far. Otherwise, it just kind of hums and.
Oh, yeah, that's right. While they were hunting, it was humming to itself, singing, basically. So maybe it's a bard. But anyway, the next thing that happened, we went to sleep, did the usual sleep thing, woke up the next day, and one of Hank's deer that was hung, in our trees was stuffed with dung.
Dung?
Yeah,
Dung.
They were in like a
Dung.
communal reusable campsite kind of a place.
Yeah.
And there was like a pile of dung off to the side, and someone had stuffed one of the deer completely full of dung.
And had scratched into the side of the deer, "Screw you, Hank."
What?
Yep. And so Hank immediately recognized. Rip roar!
Hank was so mad he destroyed that carcass and another one.
Yeah. We're gonna try and figure out how did the Rip Roar hunt us down, what's going on.
Far from where you were.
Yeah. Serendipity even goes
He showed up one time since then. It was when they were in Allenway in a hotel room, and Hank woke up and all of his gear was balanced precariously to fall on him when he woke up. That was a long time ago too.
Yeah. So Serendipity Van Gulsarmore, top of the tower, Shepherd's Soul, Stripes of Doodle-Air, busts out object reading. To object read the deer carcass to find out, show me when you got the name scratched on you and stuff like that.
Yeah.
At that point, I realized and I cautioned her, never use object reading on dung. It just occurred to me, this needs to be a warning label that's put on the ritual.
Yeah.
It was the one that's like, show me the 3 most significant moments of your existence.
Never use that on dung. You will not have a good time.
I can only think of 2, formation and excretion. What's the third one?
I was thinking the plop, maybe?
Anyway, getting back to more mature subjects. So, yeah, we do the object reading. Show us when you got written on. And Serendipity, Bengals are most often gets a vision, but the vision has a sensor bar on it.
Oh.
And right where the person scratching "Screw You, Hank" is, there's a big black box that says "Screw You, Hank" on it.
And so we're like, whoa, geez. You need really high-level magic to block that scrying.
Yeah.
And I don't know what level of magic you need in order to put, insults on your sensor bar. I don't think we've ever considered using the sensor bar as a billboard. put ads in our scrying. Advertising supported scrying. So yeah, Serendipity, Bengals are on top of the Doodle-Air, does the Arcana battle to try and get through the censoring, and she rolls amazingly well, and she blows through the censoring. And John was surprised. He wasn't expecting her to succeed. It was a really hard.
I believe she rolled a 20 on the dice.
Yeah.
And I had set it as like a level 30 check.
Yeah.
But I was very surprised that she succeeded. But she did.
And so we got our very first look at Rip Roar ever.
Yeah.
He's a gremlin. As in from the movie Gremlins.
Yeah.
So yeah, now we know what Rip Roar looks like.
Did Hank give him water sometime or something?
They do now that they know he's a gremlin. They looked up a bunch of information on the encyclopedia, especially because it's tied to Cricket's monocle or blue glass.
We discovered there's a thing called like the curse of the gremlin or something, where a gremlin is able to kind of attach themselves to a person.
Wow.
They keep showing up and causing that person trouble.
And according to that, though, they can only manifest themselves when the person is alone, which was true the one time in Allenway, but he wasn't alone in the camp last night. So that's kind of cool.
Yeah, but there was a big citation needed template on that portion of the article anyway. So
yeah, that was all very rumorish information. But also Gremlins, it was weird because Gremlins are tend to be a fairly weak type of fairy, so they're like not the kind of thing that should be able to do a screw you Hank sensor bar. Like that's way out of line with what you'd expect from a gremlin.
We're dealing with a high level gremlin. But yeah, the curse of the gremlin, that's a lead we can follow up on. So Serendipity, that goes for more time to touch realizes she has the remove affliction ritual. It's expensive, but we get a free one a day. Oh, and it does physical damage as well when you cast it.
I think she'd already used some free for the day on the...
So she spent a bunch of money casting this repeatedly on Hank. Nearly killed him. But Hank was super like, yeah, Ripper,
Keep going.
do it.
Because each time she cast it, she'd be hit with this, like it's supposed to be, there's no real thing about resistance, but she'd be hit with this magical wave of chaotic resistance to the thing, and she had to make an Arcana check. And the magic, the source of the magic had the exact same feel as the source of the magic for her anti-scry powers that she got from Stacia. So she had to cast it several times,
but finally managed to succeed. And Riproar emerges from this patch on Hank's back.
Yeah, it was like a little scaly patch, like a little, it was like a little rash or whatever.
Yeah. And so Riproar bursts out of Hank's back, and immediately tries scampering, running off into the woods, like screaming, like, because gremlins do that sort of thing. And then we hear Hank Jr.'s crossbow going ka-chunk, 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 ka-chunk. And Hank Jr. riddles Riproar with crossbow bolts, but doesn't kill him because he's a high-level gremlin. And this gremlin goes screaming straight at Hank Jr., jumps on him, and manages to find a chink in his armor.
Yeah, uses gremlin mechanical genius BS to climb in through one of his attachment ports, which is supposedly impossible, but I mean, he's a gremlin.
And a high-level one at that, so he can do things that aren't necessarily commonly doable.
Yeah.
When John described that, Tim, who had created Clinkers in world building, sort of semi-objected and said, you know, they're sort of like built to be impenetrable. But I was like, oh, John wants to have us fight Riproar in a mech suit. And I'm like, oh no, I want this. So I said, no, he's a gremlin, he could do it. So we're gonna fight Riproar in a mech suit. A mech suit named Hank Jr.
Nothing can go wrong.
Yep. I'm sure that John is going to try and play up the, like, oh, you can't hurt Hank Jr., he's your protege, Hank, and all that. And Hank's going to be like, don't care, Riproar's in there. Hair shred clang. He's going to try and set it up as this big dilemma thing. He's like, do you kill Hank Jr. to destroy Riproar?
Yes.
Oh, yeah. While you were asking the question, I hit him 3 more times with the hammer. So that's how the next session's going to start. And then presumably we'll probably time skip the rest of the way, assuming nothing unusual happens.
What unusual things could possibly happen?
Because I think we were kind of testing John a bit there, because we were like, okay, a day passes. Now what happens?
But, I think also for some days.
He's been expecting us to just like, okay, we wait around for a couple of weeks and then time travel.
I also thought that you wouldn't be able to crack the anti-scry on Riproar, so I thought it would just be an annoying thing that Riproar did again, and that's the end of it, right? Like, Riproar is just...
He's too good.
Yeah, he's too good.
But we may actually be able to finish off Riproar here. He's been riddled with crossbow bolts already.
I think people are less excited about finishing off Riproar and more excited about just killing one thing from the quest log.
Oh yeah, when we got to the Clinker College, they were like, you know, okay, what else is on the quest log around here?
Yeah.
And I was like, I can only think of one thing that's local.
Yeah.
The cobblestone quest. But no, we haven't done the cobblestone quest yet.
It's right around here.
Yeah.
It was probably on the way to get here.
I was like, come on, this is right near Allen Way.
Yeah.
Presumably they have a quarry here.
Who knows how many ding points you get?
Anyway, I still think that what's going to happen is we're going to go back in time and deposit the cobblestone in the quarry back in time. and then eventually it will get mined up.
Well, there'll be 2 of them, though.
It'll turn out there wasn't a cobblestone there.
Time duplicated cobblestone?
No, it's an ontological paradox. The cobblestone is a loop.
Not too far away.
It bootstrapped.
It has no beginning and no end.
Yeah.
Is that the last one?
And thus it is completely immune to destruction by the void monster. The universe will be destroyed and this cobblestone will be floating in the void.
So that's how you win.
Yeah.
You make paradoxes.
Anyway, that's all that happened in that session.
Yeah. Well, that was pretty exciting.
Yeah.
Okay, Hank, I have a ritual, and the ritual, it can remove curses. It's only going to hurt just a little bit. Does that sound good?
Sure.
Okay.
Ow!
Okay, it didn't work. Should we try again?
Yeah.
Okay.
Ow!
Oh, that was really close. It was almost got it.
Yeah!
It's okay. Got it!
Aurora,
I'll help you.
will you help me, please?
Yeah, here you go.
Thanks.
Are you alright?
Yeah.
Whoa, what is that thing on your back? You should get... Or what was that thing on your back? I fixed it! Oh, good. That was
Rip
weird.
roar.
You had like a scaly thing there. Ew.
Rip roar! Ah! Okay. Thank you, Serendipity, when Gold Strider, Malora, Top of Tower, Shepherd of Soul Strauss, Time, and Doom Delay.
You're welcome.
Oh no, Hank Jr.! Ah!
Dear Diary, so today we got Serendipity Van Goldstrider, Malora, Toppler, Tower, Shepherd of Soul Strider through Time, Doom to Lair, and I went to the Clinker College and we got a little tour. It was very interesting. It was very interesting because the person giving us a tour, of course, I forgot that they don't have names or call themselves by anything, and I foolishly asked for his name, and it just is like, okay, just as what I always do when I meet someone, right? But of course they don't have names, and I feel that I may have offended him, and it was very awkward. I felt extremely embarrassed. And then we saw these clinker machine things that are huge, and the brown-robed ones are very convinced that they have souls and can make decisions and are thinking persons. And it was very interesting being there with these creatures that seem barely alive, and yet everyone believes they're persons. When one of my best friends says she's not a person, and yet is so much more a thinking, choosing, believing entity than these creatures. It's very confusing. And I know Cricket is a lot smarter than me in a lot of things, but the more I learn about this world, the more I think she's just incorrect about that. But I could be wrong. Either way, she is worthy of my love and care, whatever she is.
I've made mistakes. I've made wrong choices. That's why I'm here. I was standing at the edge of the world's wound, and I knew I needed to go back there. But I let them talk me out of it. I let them talk me into dreaming. And it was all going to end. It should have all ended. The whole dream was going to come crashing round around us, and I let them talk me into stopping it. Doing some kind of magical hoofra, stopping the dream from ending, because I didn't want it to end. Time and time again, that open door was right in front of me, and I was too scared to go through. Next time, I'm not going to be scared. Next time, I'm not going to run.